in terms of the Brighton game, it is in doubt this weekend, as the Mail Sport are saying that the Premier League are braced for Tottenham to request the postponement of Sunday's game against Brighton following their COVID outbreak. And Ali Gold was talking yesterday, and he was saying it's actually a little bit worse than first feared, because we thought it was 6 players and now it's 7 players. We're awaiting the results of the PCR test today to determine how many players it actually is in terms of the PCR, because we've had the lateral flow ones back before, false positives and stuff like that.
That's going to be 7 false positives.
Yeah, I doubt it's going to be 7 false positives, but I was actually reading somewhere, I can't remember which country it was. I think it might have been in France or Portugal or somewhere like that. But they had a COVID outbreak, about 5 or 6 players, and they were all false positives.
Really?
How nuts is that?
So I guess it's positive.
It's possible, but it's highly
I mean,
unlikely. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
it's highly unlikely.
Just to confirm that UEFA have confirmed Thursday's game is going ahead against Rennes, so we'll talk about that game a little later. When it comes to the game against Brighton, Charlie Eccleshare was talking about what precedent there is to calling a game off with the amount of cases we have, and he was saying how last season Fulham called off their game with us because of 6 cases. So there is precedent potentially for this to be an amount which could get the game potentially called off. But he said right now it's fully focused on Rennes, and we haven't made a decision yet whether we're going to actually apply to call the game off or appeal to call the game off.
I mean, at the beginning of last season, when Aston Villa went down with all those cases, I can't remember how many they had, but they had games cancelled, didn't they?
Yeah,
Aston Villa.
Yeah, I guess, but I think it's different this season maybe compared to last season in terms of how much we know about COVID. Like it's like the vaccine, everyone's a lot more vaccinations than last year. Like, I don't know, it's a different situation. So I guess there's different things to consider when thinking about calling off a game.
Yeah.
Compared to last season. And then there's a question of, do we want it called off? Because I know there's 7 cases. We don't know who they are. There's rumours about who they are. We don't know for sure. But with Brighton in a fairly weak spot at the moment, they're having a bit of an injury crisis. If it's possible for us to put an 11 that could win the game, is it in our interest to keep the game on Sunday?
It all depends on who's injured, but again, you can't pick and choose to suspend the game determining which players are out. You know what I mean?
Exactly what we're doing now.
I know, but it's ridiculous. Like, either we have to go for it or we don't go for it. I'm not too sure which is the right course of action to go, but I think, in my opinion, in terms of what I would want to do, what the best is for Tottenham Hotspur, I think we have to try and get it cancelled, to be honest, in my opinion.
Because of the missing players?
Yeah.
Because then you think that our squad can't cope. Well, I guess it depends who it is. But
I mean, we've seen us change 11 players before against maybe not 11, but the likes of Mura.
Well, if they're majority fringe players?
If they're majority fringe players, then fine. But all in all, I think probably it's best to try and get it cancelled, because even if they are fringe players, then we're going to be lacking options off the bench and stuff like that. But the rumours are that it's not fringe players. The rumours are it's players like Sonny, Lucas, Davis, these kind of players. And if these kind of players are out, we've got no chance of winning. No chance.
Even with Brighton being...
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the Brighton injuries the other day, and you were not too worried about it. You were saying it doesn't matter. Well, not that it doesn't matter, but it's less of a case that it matters for Brighton because they have their set system. They've got players that can step in.
It's true.
And it's not the biggest deal in the world for them, as opposed to maybe some other clubs.
Yeah, it is true. It's true. So I guess it will have to be seen what Tottenham decide, really. It's going to be interesting to see if they do appeal to have the game called off or not. And I guess we'll get to see tomorrow who it is, because I doubt he's going to confirm. I think for legal reasons they can't confirm who it is, or I don't know if it's legal or whatever it is.
I think it's on a case-by-case situation. It's if the people maybe don't want their personal details being leaked or something like that.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Privacy, so legal thing, yeah. So I don't think they're going to confirm who it is. I don't think we might get an indication about what kind of players it is in the press conference. I don't think we're going to get a...
we'll know by the Rennes game, let's be honest.
We'll know, because I think he probably would have intended to play a fairly strong team tomorrow. So we'll see by who's missing, who's actually out. So it's going to be it's a tough time. And Conte, it's a really bad time for Conte. He's just got going really in terms of form and performances, and apparently his planning has gone completely out the window now with all this. So it's kind of everything's up in the air at the moment with Tottenham. We don't know what way to look.
Yeah, I mean, even since this news broke, have they even been able to get on the training ground, even the ones that are not involved?
Yeah, training ground's still open, they said.
It's still open?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one thing. But again, if this game gets called off against Brighton, then what happens against our game against Leicester?
And and Dan Kilpatrick just providing an update just now, actually saying, latest from Spurs this morning, club is in no rush to make a decision over Brighton appeal, which could come after tomorrow's visit of Rennes as they await the PCR tests. Conte and Højbjerg's press conference due at 2 p.m.
But what I'm saying is that if they call off this Brighton game, surely they need to call off the Leicester game as well.
In theory, unless the other players test negative during the week. But then again, the rules are they have to isolate for 10 days. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think the rules are they have to isolate for 10 days unless they test negatively twice.
Right.
That's the rules.
Okay, so then this doesn't necessarily mean that the Leicester game has to be called off.
But, you would assume that if they're testing positive, it's not 10 days after the Leicester game, so it's likely that they will still be testing positive by the Leicester game.
I guess, yeah.
So it's a difficult situation. It's a very difficult situation. It's so Spursy, this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
just when things are looking up,
just when things you think we're going around the corner, you think we're on a bit of form, we have to be hit by COVID, and it's the worst timing as well during the busiest period of the season.
Yeah.